Every year in the NFL, it's a new team. As far as goals go, we have one. Putting a fucking ring on our finger.
Welcome to the Buccaneers Observer Podcast. This is Rob Phillips.
I'm Molly Bay.
Today is November 27th, 2019. Got the All-22 film review done. The video is up on YouTube. It's a rather long one. I think it's about a half hour. You know, I've gotten some complaints from some people that have said that these videos are too long. But then the vast majority of people that watch them say that they're good enough, that they like it the way it is. So, you know, I've been debating on whether to condense them, but I don't like leaving, you know, some of the stuff I could leave out. It's not, like the title implies, it's just things that I find interesting. You know, it's not like I'm sitting there laying out the route trees and showing everybody what the game plan was and all that mess. It's just little things in the game that I found interesting. And usually if there's a half hour's worth of that stuff, I'm going to put it in there. I think the shortest one I've had so far has been like 20 minutes or 17 minutes.
I think no matter what you do, you're always going to have critics. And so you just do you.
That's what I'm going to do. Just do me.
Just do Ralph.
Yeah, there we go. I'm just going to do Ralph. This was an interesting one. I was so excited to watch this All-22 because I felt like there was so much trench work that was done that I didn't see in the broadcast version, and I was expecting to see a bunch of little stuff here and there all over the place, but to be honest with you, the game was quite boring for the first half. If you watch the video, I think I've got maybe 5 plays from the first half.
So it wasn't until the second half that it got good.
Yeah, that it got interesting, and then still there wasn't all that much different from the All-22 and the broadcast version. There wasn't a lot of little things that you see on the All-22 that you wouldn't see on the broadcast version. I will say this, though. What was our conclusion watching the broadcast version, or instant reaction?
I don't know. That was like 3 days ago. I've killed a lot of brain cells since then.
Well, I'm going to put our secondary up there without a doubt as the number one reason why we won that game. Oh, they played amazing. They were like glue. And somehow, some way, I don't know if they knew the routes beforehand. Or
did Dirk Cutter not change up his playbook? But none of those guys really know it. Carlton Davis.
Jameis Winston sure knows it.
Yeah. But I mean the rookies in the secondary.
Well, and also it's similar to our offense. You know, it's that Air Coryell type offense. And our defense has played against that all preseason and all this other. You know, they're quite familiar with it. But not only were we sticking to them like glue, you know, when we had man coverage, somehow, some way, it seemed like there was 2 guys around every one of their receivers. This is really weird. It surprised me. I mean, there was hardly any plays where there was any separation. Even when we ran zone, our secondary would be right there. It was very, very impressive, actually. And I'm going to pat myself on the back for, you know, saying all year long that we've got a good secondary. We're just waiting for these guys to catch up. You know, they're a bunch of young guys. But, you know, we've got Jamel Dean. I think he has 15 pass defenses.
And he hasn't even been starting.
I know, out of like 168 snaps. That's incredible.
Wow.
The league leader in pass defenses has, I think, 16 all year at 800 snaps almost.
What?
Yeah, that Jamel Dean, there's something there, man. That guy has got, I don't know. He doesn't really play fast, but he's like BA says, man. He's just got that length. He just seems to be able to just wrap around you and bat the ball down, or, you know, be 5 feet away and reach an arm out and bat it down. Or he's very smooth with his motions, and he's real lanky. I've never seen anything like that on tape, just the way he operates back there. I like it. It's different. But yeah, our secondary was by far the best unit. They played really, really well. I mean, there might have been 1, maybe 2 plays where they had an open receiver.
Now, I would question the quality of the opponent, but we're talking about Julio Jones, best receiver in the league. Yeah, Calvin Ridley is nothing to shake a stick at.
Yeah, and, you know, Matt Ryan is, you know, pretty.
He can make any receiver look good.
Yeah. We had him frazzled, though. Our defensive line didn't seem to be that aggressive until the second half. That's when they really, really showed up. The JPP, I'd actually written a note here throughout the first half. Let me see. I had, at 6 minutes, 12 seconds left in the second quarter, I'd written a note saying JPP's still a non-factor. In the past couple of games, he really hasn't done much.
Yeah.
But then in the second half, man, he showed up big.
I wonder if they made adjustments or if that was their game plan all along.
I think having the Falcons have to basically abandon the run really let our defensive line go crazy with the rushing the quarterback. Because we do a lot Bruce Arians' philosophy is rush the quarterback, stop the running game on the way.
Yes.
But we do watch for the run a lot. You'll see our guys, especially Villa and Sue, will play the run first. If it looks like if there's a running back in the backfield, they will not push as hard and fast to the quarterback as they normally do. They'll stand their guys up, look and see if it's going to be a run. And then as soon as they see it's not a run, that's when they push. But when the Falcons were down by so much and we knew they were going to pass, we didn't have to do that. There was a couple times I even made a comment on the YouTube video. I said, this is something that has to strike fear in the heart of any quarterback. And I showed the defensive line. It was JPP, Nacho, Vita Vea, Sue, and Shaquille Barrett.
Ooh.
Was on the defensive line. And they collapsed the pocket in less than 2 seconds. It was 1.98 seconds. I was like, man, and they did that a couple times. When those guys are on the front and they're, trying to stop a team from moving down the field, there's nothing you can do about it.
And Matt Ryan, he's not a quick release quarterback, right? They have those routes that have to develop.
Yeah. He's not like Drew Brees where he could just zip it out real quick to somebody behind the line of scrimmage.
And offensive lineman's feet.
The refs did a very good job. I was very surprised. I've only got one note here where they didn't call a hold, and it was on us. Kappa held a guy.
I thought I noticed a few times there were offsides that they didn't call during the broadcast.
Might have, but compared to the ref crews we've had all year long, I want this ref crew every year. It was Clay Martin's ref crew. This is his 5th year as a ref, and it's one of the more experienced ref crews. The umpire was Fred Byron. This is his 11th year. Him and Greg Wilson have been on the same crew. Greg Wilson is the back judge. This is his 12th year. The side judge is Greg Gautreau. This is his 18th year. The field judge is Nate Jones. This is his first year, but he is a former NFL player, so he knows what he's doing. Gary Arthur, the line judge, this is his 23rd year. Gerard Phillips, the down judge, this is his 4th year. And Fred Bryan, I already mentioned him, the umpire, this is his 11th year. So it's a pretty experienced crew. They did a great job, I thought. Although, I will say this, do you remember the personal foul called on the Falcons during the extra points after Sue scored the touchdown?
No.
Right. They didn't show it in the broadcast version. They just mentioned it and said, it was a personal foul, everything. Well, it was number 27 for Atlanta, Casey. He should have been kicked out of the game.
What?
I'm not even sure if he was. They didn't say it on the broadcast version.
I think they would have said it.
Yeah, you would think. But he hits 92 Will Galston during the extra point attempt. Gets him right in the stomach with his shoulder. 2 guys actually hit Galston. Galston falls down on the ground. Casey falls on top of him. As Casey's getting up, he punches him in the face.
What?
Yeah. And then, of course, Galston gets up and is getting ready to kill the guy because Galston's twice as big as he is. And the guy swipes at Galston again in the face, right? So the referees come over and they separate them. And one of the refs is pushing Casey away. And Casey swipes at the ref's hands and knocks it away. They should have ejected him, but they didn't. Not that I know of. I wish I would have shown that on the broadcast version. Huh?
Yeah, no kidding. I think that they don't want to glorify that because you'll see it a lot of times when there are fights.
Yeah, they'll
they
cut
pan
away.
off. Yeah. They show the coaches or a close-up of somebody on the sideline.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of blocked field goals, Nacho almost blocked a field goal. And as a matter of fact, I think he got a piece of it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was really cool. It was in the first quarter. He gets through the line and he jumps up. And if he didn't get a piece of it, that ball was within a half inch of his hand. And it was so funny because the ball goes through and you see him and Golston, because, Golston's big in blocking kicks, are both just like hitting themselves on the helmet. And they're just like, oh, God, that was so close. And they're both running off the field doing putting their arms up in the air like, oh, so close. Our defense played with a lot of energy, man. A lot of energy. They were all over the field, and after almost
celebrating.
Every play, yes, they were celebrating, jumping up and down. Carlton Davis, Whitehead. I mean, when Sue made that touchdown, they were all over top of him.
Yeah.
When Vita Vea not batted a pass down, they were all over top of it. Vita Vea was out there dancing. He got a lot of celebrations in this game. You had to get some gifts on that. GIFs. Another prop, too, I would maybe put this second into why we won this game, was our offensive play calling. It was pretty good. A lot of innovative stuff, too. Of course, you got the Vita Vea touchdown. That was an innovative play. But they had a designed run play for Jameis Winston. The announcer said it. He said, I think that was a designed run play for Jameis Winston. And then he kind of backtracked from it, but it was a designed run play. And it was really neat. All the wide receivers went towards the sidelines to draw the cornerbacks away. The offensive line all turned and kind of pushed open a hole in the middle, and it would have worked too. I mean, he had a clear spot in front of him, except Vic Beasley
sniffed it out
and ended up coming around behind Jameis Winston and tackling. He only ended up picking up 4 yards, but
interesting.
Yeah, it was an interesting play. I'd never seen anything like that before.
I liked seeing that end around they had with Scotty Miller, although he lost 2 yards on it.
Yeah, it got sniffed out too.
Right, but it was different. I like seeing that.
Yeah, and that's Scotty Miller, man. If he gets out in open space, I'm anxious to see him get in open space because he's
waiting for him.
He's a fast little dude. Now, I had put a note. The first half, Jameis played really, really well, except for that one jump pass.
Yeah, that was picked off, right?
Yes, and it's so funny because Matt Ryan did the same exact thing later.
Oh, really?
That's the pass that Levante David dropped. Matt Ryan jumped up in the air and tried to dump it off to the guy right in the middle, and Levante David grabbed it and started running with it before he had it secured. But Jameis was playing really well, and actually had a note here in the third quarter. And then after that, he started screwing up a little bit, but he had a really good game. The one play, this is the play that I think changed the game. Now, Quinn, the head coach for Atlanta Falcons, and Bruce Arians both pointed to the Chris Godwin 71-yard touchdown play as the play that changed the game.
Yeah, which is funny because right after that, the next offensive drive, Jameis threw another pick. Or that was the one off of Dare.
Yes. On that play, it is so funny. On that play where he threw to Chris Godwin and everything, that was probably the worst person he could have thrown to. There was 2 guys on Chris Godwin.
Yeah, I remember seeing that.
Mike Evans and Rashard Perriman are both open on the sidelines on either side. Yeah, I would looked at that and I was like, this is something I would really complain about if Godwin wouldn't have made that catch.
If it wasn't a 71-yard touchdown. Yeah. It's really hard to complain about a 71-yard touchdown.
Yeah, it is. It is.
And it was the extra effort by Chris Godwin that really made that play.
Which, God, it's been so long since we've had a receiver that runs after the catch.
Yeah. And he was really tackled.
Yeah, he did a great job with it.
And stayed on his feet and ran it in for a touchdown.
But to me, that was not the tipping point of the game. Like you said, even after that, Jameis Winston threw an interception. It still seemed like, the game was close between us. It wasn't until we were backed up on, I think, our 1.5 or 8 yards. We were close to our end zone. This was 3:31 in the second quarter. Matter of fact, when I was doing the video for this, I skipped over this play. I was going to put it in, and then I was like, it's okay. But then thinking on it last night, I was like, man, I really need to put this play in there because it kind of solidifies everything I talk about with Jameis Winston. It was that Rashard Perriman pass, the one pass he caught.
And fell out of bounds immediately.
And fell out of bounds, 44-yard pass. To me, that was the tipping point because here it was, we were backed up on our end zone. It was third down. It was 3rd and 7. We were backed up on our 8. It was 3rd and 7, and Jameis Winston scrambles out of the pocket. He didn't really need to, but he kept his shoulders downfield. He was squared up, and he kept his feet set. He had his base, so he was able to see if anybody was open as he was scrambling. It was really perfect, everything that I talk about what Jameis Winston needs to be doing better. And sure enough, he saw Perriman was wide open. There was nobody even close to him, and he threw the ball. And Perriman, of course, caught it. I don't know why Perriman turned around like he did to catch it and then fell down. That would have been a touchdown if he would have just caught it over his shoulder.
Yeah, there was nobody near him.
And that, to me, that's the one that changed the game because I think it really gave Jameis Winston confidence. It really sparked the team up because we got out of a 3rd and long situation. We got off of our end zone. And what me and you have been pointing out all year is that usually in the games we lose, it's because our opponents are able to score on these long drives, and we haven't been. I mean, for a long time, the longest drive we had scored on was 75 yards.
Wow.
Well, this one, was I think we started off on the 90, it was like a 98-yard drive, I don't remember. But it got us out of the end zone, and it moved us. And from that point on, we pretty much dominated the game. I think the only play they had after that was blocking the extra point, which that was Cameron Brate's fault, by the way, the extra point. 7:53 in the third quarter. Winston does not see a wide open Mike Evans on a 3rd and 2. He throws an incomplete pass to a covered Cameron Brate. We were on our own 19. We ended up punting after this. But yeah, Mike Evans was wide open. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The first half of the game, Winston played really well. Then in the the third quarter, towards the end of the game, he started doing some of the stuff I don't like, missing the not seeing open receivers, not seeing the field, scrambling a little bit when he didn't need to, blah, blah, blah.
But then the defense had a good second half. So, again, it balances out.
Yes, defense stepped up and filled in those holes. And JPP really showed up in the second half.
I think getting energized by the other guys, he is usually one of the ones with the most energy. And we saw last year when the team was losing that last game, he said a lot of guys don't keep it real and he hates losing. So that's got to be a little draining to be kind of the emotional or the energy source of the defense and not have anybody step up.
Yes.
So I think he really feeds off of it, and it was a good team effort to get the energy up.
Well, if he's the one that's done it, he's done a really good job because, honestly, he looks like the least energetic one out there. He did have some really good plays, but that's one thing. You brought that up. I'm glad you did. The Bucs, here we are. We're sitting at, 4-8 now?
4-7.
4-7?
Or no. Yes, 4-7.
4-7. And we look like a team that's still trying to get in the playoffs, and none of these guys are quitting. Nobody's phoning it in. I mean, they're playing hard, and you got to respect that.
Absolutely. I'm not a big fan of teams trying to tank for draft picks.
No.
It kind of pisses me off.
No, well, you know how you feel when the Bucs lose. That whole rest of the week, you kind of just blah,
Yeah.
And especially that Sunday, you just want to go home and go to sleep. So, it's not a good feeling. I don't want that feeling, even, no matter what.
Yeah.
I want to win every week. I mean, I want them to be entertaining games. Which somebody else brought that up. I saw a post on Reddit. They were talking about, it was a Eagles fan or somebody that said that we should be thankful for Jameis because he's very entertaining.
Yeah.
And that's true.
Yeah.
That's
Silver
true.
lining, guys.
Very, very entertaining. Sometimes he makes you want to pull your hair out. But Donovan Smith had a rough day. It wasn't bad. It wasn't like the Donovan Smith of old, but it was Adrian Claiborne. He's got Adrian Claiborne's got his number, and it just seems like Donovan Smith. And I've noticed this throughout the years. Donovan Smith just has a hard time with Adrian Claiborne.
That's so funny.
And they didn't really put Adrian Claiborne on Donovan Smith that much, but when they did, man, he had a hard time with him.
They should have kept him there, huh?
Yeah, it wasn't really smart on their part.
I always liked Adrian Claiborne. I was not happy to see him go.
Yeah, I've always thought he was a good player. He's just got a motor. He doesn't quit. That's for sure.
Yeah, and he's not, elite, but I think he's certainly above average.
Yes, right. Yeah.
It's a solid
He's going
player.
to get the job done, that's for sure.
Exactly.
He doesn't make a whole lot of mistakes. But I don't know what it is, but Donovan Smith just has a hard time with Adrian Claiborne. Now, I used to play racquetball competitively, and when I was about 15 years old, I was playing in the adult leagues because I got to an advanced level to where nobody my age was competitive enough. So I ended up having to join the adult leagues. I didn't lose a match for, I think, 6 years. I was really dominant in the sport, and nobody could just, there was just no competition for me, really. I mean, I was playing, guys much older than me, too. But I was just fast and agile and all that good stuff. And if you know anything about racquetball, it's a very fast sport. So anyhow, I ended up playing in this tournament one time, and I played this guy. This is going to the whole Donovan Smith. And usually there's no matter how good you are, there's always somebody out there that can beat you.
Oh, absolutely. Like the New York Giants and the Patriots twice in the Super Bowl. Neither time did anyone ever expect the Giants to have the Patriots number.
Right. Yeah,
and they did it twice.
Yeah, the Giants are basically a bumbling, stumbling team, and then they go in there and beat the Patriots twice. It's just like, what? They just got there's something about them. I think it was Tom Coughlin, wasn't it? That was the head coach. Yeah, something about. So the same thing happened with me, and this is where I learned that lesson. I was just, in this tournament, I was just dominating everybody. It was nothing unusual. But then there was this one guy, and we were playing like in a tournament where you ended up playing everybody twice, and, it was kind of a weird bracket system. So I ended up playing this guy twice. And the first time I played him, I found out he hadn't been playing but for like less than a year. And, I didn't really think nothing about it. I was like, oh, this should be pretty easy. And he ended up whooping me. And I was furious, one, because, I had a huge ego at the time and stuff. And I was furious. Yeah, at the time. I've got that on the wraps
I've grown
now.
into it.
But I was furious after that. And I was like, that was luck. It was pure luck. He just happened to, but what he did was like I said, I played really fast, slammed. I kept the ball low, and everything was about keeping it close to the walls and all this good stuff. And this guy would take my serves or take my rebounds or whatever, and he would just lob it. Just lob it up to the ceiling, and it would do this high arc. And basically, he slowed the game down. He didn't know what he was doing. He didn't plan this as anything, but I couldn't play that away, and it just frustrated the hell out of me. So the next time I went to play him, I was like, okay, this, he got me last time, but I know how to beat. No,
you had to avenge your honor.
Yeah, no, he beat me again. He beat me again. I just couldn't play that way. I couldn't slow down. And that's when I first realized, I was like, wow, everybody's got their Achilles heel. And that was mine. And that guy and he ended up placing like last in the tournament. And everybody was amazed. They were like, how did he place last and he beat you twice? I hadn't been beaten by anybody in like 6 years. So it was very strange. But that's when I realized that sometimes some people just have your number, whether they realize it or not. And I think with Donovan Smith, that's how it is with Adrian Claiborne. Donovan Smith just can't handle Adrian Claiborne. He pushes him back. He knocks him out of the way. I think it might be because they're about the same size and strength. I don't know, but he just seems to have Donovan Smith's number. Donovan Smith didn't allow him to do a whole lot, but it was just interesting. You saw Donovan Smith struggle mightily with him more than he does with anybody else. Ryan Smith, number 29. Got to give kudos out to him every podcast, I think, because that guy is just a beast on special teams. He's changed our special teams. If you remember, before he came back from suspension, our special teams sucked. Guys were getting, 15, 20 yards. A punt on us and everything.
You have Vernon Hargraves, loafing
out there. But since Ryan Smith has come back, our special teams has been on point. He's down there. He's the first one down on any punt or kickoff every single time.
And he likes to hit, too.
Yeah. He ain't scared of contact for sure. So we got to give Ryan Smith a shout out. Like I said, the defensive line just killed it, especially in the fourth quarter. They were all over him. They were all over Matt Ryan. I think everybody got in on it. Nacho. We actually got to see 79 Patrick O'Connor and 96 Sam Ocho were out there for quite a few snaps in the fourth quarter. Yeah, they were out there.
Was that when Matt Schaub came in?
No, I think they started coming out in about the third quarter, towards the end of the third quarter. Matt Schaub didn't come in, I think, until the last drive with the Falcons in the fourth quarter. But yeah, in the fourth quarter, our defensive line was just tearing them up. So that's about it for the film review. Like I said, there wasn't a whole lot there that wasn't on the broadcast. If you watch the YouTube video, you'll see some interesting things. There was one, Ryan Jensen, I think it was 97, and Grady Jarrett. Grady Jarrett was a real handful for our whole line. That guy's very underrated defensive tackle. Ali Marpet and Grady Jarrett were going at it, and Jensen comes in and hits them from the side, and they fall down. I don't know what Ryan Jensen was doing, but he ended up doing a headstand. Got completely vertical with his feet sticking straight up in the air.
Like a keg stand.
Yeah, he was doing a keg stand on Grady Jarrett and Ali Marpet. It was hilarious. I actually did a screenshot of it. Their fullback, number 40, Keith. I think that's his last name. Can't remember. One of the last fullbacks left in the league. He got into it with JPP blocking him, and he got just a little too aggressive with JPP. And JPP didn't take too kindly to that and just tossed him to the ground, man, violently, yeah. And it stood over top of him like, get up, say something. Yeah, and I got to get that soundbite from Booger the other night when he was said, America, stop trying to block good defensive ends with tight ends.
Oh my gosh, I was so dying. What game was that? Oh, it was Monday night, so the Baltimore game where they just destroyed. Who did they play? Can't even remember. It was such an ass whooping. It was bad.
Baltimore's been destroying everybody.
Yeah, they ran up the score like 42. I can't believe I can't remember.
But yeah, I had quite a few of that in the video too. And I kept quoting Booger, so I need to get that soundbite so I can put it in the videos. Yeah, because I don't know. Teams do that, and you're just like, what? I mean, why would you put a tight end, Luke Stocker, on Shaquille Barrett?
Or we've done it before with OJ.
Oh, yeah, we do it.
OJ's not great at blocking.
We do it all the time. It's insane. Interesting thing, I got to looking at this. I was like, it just seems like we've, like I said, we're a good football team, especially offensively. We're a good football team. So I looked it up, and we have led in 9 of 11 games.
We've had the lead?
We've had the lead in 9 of 11 games. The only games we didn't hold the lead was Week 6 against the Panthers and Week 11 against the Saints. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
To be a 4-7 team.
Too bad we can't keep a lead.
Yeah, that happened in quite a few games, too, where we
gave it up.
Yeah. And I looked at the time of possession, too. We led in time of possession in 6 of the games. In 5 of the games, we didn't lead in time of possession. Of the 5 games that we did not lead in time of possession, we lost 4 of them. In the 6 games that we did lead in time of possession, we only lost 3. So we have a much better chance of winning when we lead in time of possession.
Yeah.
So that's about it for the All-22. You got anything to add?
The Rams, that's who played Monday.
Surprised you didn't wake up tonight,
I know.
like 2 in the morning and wake me up. It's the Rams! The Rams! Well, tomorrow's Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Enjoy your... Most likely everybody has 2 days off, huh? Most people.
A lot of people.
A lot of people do. Enjoy your family. Give thanks.
3 games tomorrow.
Is there?
Yeah, Atlanta and New Orleans play.
Poor Atlanta, man. They've got, 5 division games in a row? Is that what
Yeah, this will be the 4th one. So they had...
And then don't they play
see
Carolina?
Yeah, they play the Panthers.
That's insane. Ugh. It's going to be interesting to see if the Saints and the Panthers want revenge on them.
Yeah, and how it goes tomorrow with Atlanta losing to us this week, and then, they've just been trouncing the other 2 teams in the division.
Are we going to do a Friday podcast?
Yeah, probably.
Okay. All right.
It might be Friday morning.
That'll work.
I gotta cook.
Friday morning?
No, Thursday.
Yeah.
It's hard to do on Thursday. I'll be cooking all day and drinking, so in that order.
All right. Well, that's going to wrap it up for us. If you want to listen to Bruce Arians' Monday press conference, stay tuned. After the podcast here, it'll play.
Oh, I do have one more thing, an addendum.
Oh, you know what? I got some news, too.
Okay. So we're not done at all.
Yeah, we're not done. Never mind. Take that back.
Just kidding, guys. Someone had commented on our instant reaction. I think it was Rarely Even, who likes to leave comments, which we always appreciate, and thought we should cut Devin White a little bit of slack. And I agree with him. What he said was that Devin's not going to get any better with his pass coverage if he's not on the field. Completely agree. We're not advocating benching him. We're just saying he needs to improve in this aspect.
I think I did say that at the first of the year. I was saying maybe he needs to sit for a while.
Oh, right. Yeah, but Kevin Minter wasn't any better.
Kevin Minter isn't any better. I mean, we're asking a lot for these inside linebackers.
And he's a rookie. Rookies are bad almost all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I learned that from Ian Beckles.
Yeah, who Ian Beckles is really high on this team.
Is he really? Yeah. I haven't listened to him because I just assumed that he was going to be, after the lose streak, he was going to kind of be negative.
No, he's really high on him.
So Rarely Even, thanks for the comment.
Yes, and you are correct. I do believe, and I say stuff on this podcast, and a lot of times I blow it out of proportion. But it's a game of inches, and a step here, step there means a lot, and so I'll make it sound like players are worse than they are or better than they are sometimes. But no, I'm not advocating for Devin White to be benched. I think you're correct. He's only going to get better by getting out there playing.
Exactly. And the other players on the defense need to step up if you know that he's a liability in that way.
I think, and watching the All-22, that first play they had, it was like a 50-some yarder to their tight end. I can't remember the guy's name. He went straight up the middle. Jaden Graham. Yes. And watching it on the All-22, I couldn't for the life of me tell whose responsibility it was. And I said, I think in the instant cast, that it was the inside linebackers, Devin White's responsibility. He should have gone with him. It looked like they were playing some form of cover 2 shell. I don't know if it was supposed to be a Tampa 2. The linebacker drops back further. In the video, I said that I was incorrect in blaming it on Devin White. But then rewatching it, you can see Levante David and Devin White are jawing back and forth after the play. Basically, it looks to me like they were trying to figure out which one of them screwed up.
Gotcha.
And I'm pretty sure it was Devin White.
It could have been either one, though.
Right.
But BA also puts it on the veterans to
straighten that stuff out.
Stuff out. So that could have been what that was. Or it could have been Devin going, Levante, you were supposed to be doing that.
Yeah. Well, you can see them talking to each other before the play as to who was, where they were supposed to be, who was covering who. And Levante looked like he went and covered the running back, leaving the tight end to Devin White. And Devin White just got confused with the message there. Devin White just kind of dropped back a little bit. He didn't go all the way back and definitely didn't follow the tight end. I don't know whose fault it was, but I would have to say it was, Devin White's. So my whole point behind all of that is that we can't blame the secondary totally for all this yardage that's being given up. And Devin White gives up quite a bit of yardage. He actually gives up more than his fair share. Probably about 30% of the yardage given up on pass plays can be attributed just to Devin White.
And it makes sense, too, because if you're an opposing quarterback, you're going to pick on the rookie.
Yeah, and we're asking him to do a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, a whole lot.
He's got the mic, too.
Yeah. He's the one in charge of getting the play calling in, getting everybody in position. And a lot of times he doesn't even know where he's supposed to be. So.
All right, what you got for news?
Still looking. Greg Allman had a pretty interesting stat out the other day. People were talking about Winston's interceptions and all that, that cost us the games. When this is according to Greg Allman, when Jameis Winston has 0 interceptions and turnovers, the Buccaneers are still 12-14.
Wow.
Yeah. So his turnovers aren't necessarily the reason why we've been losing them.
It's an interesting measure.
Yeah, well, that's the thing about stats. You can make them say whatever you want them to.
Yeah.
So I'm not a big fan of stats. A good tool, but definitely not the end-all, be-all. Chris Godwin was named the NFC Offensive Player of the Week. He had a career-high 184 yards and 2 touchdowns in our win against Atlanta.
He deserved it. Well deserved.
We've had a lot of honors and awards this year. Man, I tell you what, the Pro Bowl balloting is going to be interesting because we got a lot of guys that deserve to be in the Pro Bowl. It is amazing at how much talent we have on this team. Elite level players. Shaq Barrett, Vita Vea, Nassib, JPP. That's just on our defensive line. Levante David. What am I at 5 now? Mike Evans, Chris Godwin. That's 7 right there. I would have thrown Matt Gay in there if he wouldn't have missed those 3 extra
what
points.
was that?
I don't know. It's so weird. Somebody pointed out that he has a better record statistically from 50 yards and beyond than he does at kicking extra points.
And I thought about that strategically. If you want to take pressure off your offense or your quarterback, wouldn't you bring in a kicker that can just boot it? So then it's not a big deal if you don't get it if you can't get to the end zone, you get a better chance of at least putting points on the board. If you have somebody that can make it from 57 yards, 54 yards.
It was funny. He missed those 3 extra points, which they're 35-yard kicks now or something.
Yeah.
And then he made like a 35-yard field goal. It was so strange. It's like, how do you miss extra points and then make the field goal? I don't know. But I'd rather him miss extra points and make field goals.
Yeah.
All right, that's it for me in news. I'm sure there's some other stuff we missed. I wasn't in the news mode today. I've been doing the video. So, all right, so we're going to try this again. That's going to do it all for us. If you want to listen to the the Bruce Arians press conference, stick around. It's going to be after the podcast here. Till next time.
Go Bucks.
Not a lot to add. I thought it was our best complete team game yesterday. Other than the extra points, and that's so easy to fix. Matt was just a little late on his get-off, and then he hurries up, and then that's when you hit that big hook. So he fixed it on the field goal. The block was just really a great get-off on the guy. He still had it on 1-2-6, I think. So we can do a little better job on the edge. But Bo Allen made a hell of a play running that guy down. So, but our coverage and pressure went hand in hand defensively. 6 sacks, giving up no sacks. Offensive line played really, really well, and our tight ends. But it's a really good win.
Was that an example of football being fairly simple, Coach, that the team that blocks the best and tackles the best usually have a better chance of winning regardless?
Yeah. Normally, if you turn it over twice, you don't win that early. But we were able to overcome it, And but yeah, I think that's the best communication we've had on defense all year. All that time, those guys, especially those young guys, are putting in, really showed up in this game. We had the one bust early on the long pass down the middle, and then we rallied, held them to 3, got it fixed, and played great from there.
In terms of the aggressiveness from the secondary, all told, they had 16 passes defensed. How much is that exactly?
I'd like to see 12 and 4 interceptions because we dropped 4 right in our hands. We should put them all on the jugs next week. But, we were tight coverage. They studied it. They knew what was happening. They were anticipating maybe for the first time that I saw young guys, they knew what was coming, and they played it well.
Coach, I'm always curious about this with interceptions. Do you find, from your time coaching, is it just something that, hey, they got to get on the jugs machine more, or they just need kind of like more reps in that, or is it really just that some guys have that knack for the ball?
I can't believe Levante dropped his. I think he saw himself in the end zone before he caught it, because that was just pick six all the way, and he's got great hands. So it was probably just getting ahead of himself. Other guys are DBs for a reason. If they could really catch, they'd be wideouts, So they have to work at it harder. And there's a little bit of anxiety when that ball's coming, and they don't trust it. Carlton had one in his hands, and Jamel had one that went right through his hands. And but they're working hard on their hands, and really happy for Carlton to get the monkey off his back. And that was a 50-50 ball I'd throw every time to Calvin Ridley, and he took it away from him.
Did you mention that Carlton, he's played a lot of man coverage up the press, he's pretty good at it, a little handsy at times, but did you mention that he was able to be off a little bit and watch the quarterback more? Or?
Yeah, we had a nice mix in this ball game, and his off coverage is getting better, as is Jamel's. Yeah. They're both getting a little bit better on off coverage, so they're not up there every time, I guess their strength is because they have that length to get up there and get on people, but to be able to play off coverage really helps.
And that's more what they did probably in college, right? It's just you get this guy and play press.
Yep. Play, even if it was quarters, they're up there pressed and playing basically all alone by themselves.
Yeah. There's a TV commentator said something, and I don't know how accurate it is. That's why I want to ask you, that as a coaching staff, you guys spent, I don't know if he said extra time or more specific time on game planning for what Atlanta had done successfully the last 2 weeks. Do you credit your coaching staff that you guys spent a little extra?
Well, yeah. If you'd watched the previous games, it was a totally different defense. It was all man-to-man press, bear defense. This was more traditional zone, cover two, man mixed in and out, So they changed 3 weeks ago after their little coaching change. And I thought our guys did a heck of a job of having a plan for both.
What goes into those adjustments, not only, I guess, throughout the year, but in halftime, right? Fans talk about, they throw out the word, well, why didn't they adjust? Where were the adjustments? What really goes into that during a game or even going into a season?
Well, you're going to see new things. It might be formation, it might be motions. So you adjust at halftime defensively. Offensively, it was where they were putting a safety down weak and not strong. And we had to rearrange how we were blocking things. And it's the beauty of having Chris Godwin. We take the linebacker and let the tackle block the safety, and he blocked him every time. And so the running game really got going. It was a shame that we had a false start, because I think Rojo might have went 97 on that one. He was out, and we flinched a little bit.
Where's that first drive? The second half was almost all on the ground. And in terms of just establishing separation, it goes from a 9-point game at the half to being 2 scores and more comfortable. How big was just the play calling and the execution on the drive?
Oh, it was huge. it's exactly that. Get the 2 scores, get them out of the running game, and let's tee off. And the mix, I think we might have one chunk in there, but the mixture of the runs and like I said, the tight ends. They had a handful this week blocking 300-pound linemen, and we made those adjustments at halftime, and I thought the coaches did a hell of a job of getting those runs going.
The emphasis is always going to be on the quarterback in this league. Inescapable, right? That's just the game, because he has the ball all the time. But a little bit to Trev's point, it's still the biggest team game in the world, right? He's still the most dependent player on the field. Everybody has to do their job. So when you see, hey, they can run the ball, or hey, you can get a turnover and overcome the ones you just had, it sure as hell makes it look better for that quarterback.
Oh, there's no doubt. When we were 30-31 run, really 28-28, because we had those kneel downs. And I don't know why they go into the stats. They kill your third downs and they kill your rushing. But we're about 28-28, run pass. And if you're in a game with that, you're going to have a chance. You're going to have a chance.
You talked about Ron Jones there a little bit, and him almost breaking that one off if it doesn't get called back. Are you seeing that kind of stuff? Is it just inevitable that this guy's going to have a long touchdown run this season? Are you seeing those long runs happen?
Yeah. I think back in the Rams, we got called for an illegal formation, and he had about a 45 or 50-yarder called back. It's going to pop, and the guys know he can do it. So there's a little more. Let's get him loose. That touchdown run was a really good run.
Godwin's obviously had a great game, has had a great season so far. How much of what he's doing has to do with just that ability to extend plays after the catch, the yards after the catch.
It's amazing. It's really amazing. His run after the catch. I never saw it in the spring because, we're not tackling. But he has an uncanny knack of breaking the first one. And he's so strong. And it's not like he's real shifty. He's just extremely strong and tough.
You've been in the league a minute. You can remember, there's always a player or two, whether it was Fridge Perry going back in the day at the goal line, bigger guys getting the ball, Donald Penn's done here. But, with Vita, there's not many guys 347. He might be the biggest guy to get in the end zone that have his athletic ability. When does that become a weapon? When does that? Because you saw how your sideline reacted to it. It's more than a gimmick, right? It's more than just, hey, let's put the big guy in there and throw the ball.
That block he made against the Cardinals, took out 3 guys, and so as we put we've only been in goal line maybe 4 snaps the whole year. We don't use it a whole lot, so I've always looked for that guard or defensive player to be a fullback, and especially if they can catch. Now, if you can't catch, probably not going to use you. But I think the last guy to catch a touchdown for me was Sean O'Hara in Cleveland. But it's always fun when those guys get the ball, and but they earn it. They earn it by blocking.
Minus a third down penalty on Ndamukong Suh that gave them a first down. Was that his best game, you think?
Oh, by far. Yeah, he was all over the place, run and pass. Yeah, that was by far his best. And he's been really good all year.
With Jameis this year, there's been so much of everything right now. Like, he's second in the league in yards, he's second in touchdowns, and obviously you have the interceptions. How do you deal with him having so much of everything and balancing the good and bad each week?
Good question. Probably why like I said, that's why I don't have any hair. But we got to get rid of the bad, the really bad, the jump pass. The first one was a great play by Trufant. He obviously studied the tape. That's one of our go-to plays in that formation. So he just undercut it. James might need to see the color. He was looking the safety off, trusting Mike to be crossing his face, and just. But the jump pass, no, we can't have that one. We just can't have it.
And again, that's situational. In that point of the game, you're not having a desperation fourth quarter drive.
No, just eat it. Punt it. Your punter's your best friend.
He had like a third down throw where got out of the sack and scrambled to his left and just chucked it out of bounds. And I was waiting to see almost the applause from the sidelines in terms of the recognition that
saved the field goal. Because he takes that sack, we're probably out of field goal range. And he had done that earlier in the year, and that's his growth.
Bruce, from an injury standpoint, we saw Murphy bunting, but then we saw him kind of running into the locker room. Are there any?
I think he's going to be okay. It looks like we came out pretty clean. I'll get to since we have today off, they're coming in a bit late, so